Hello, my makeup loving friends. How's it going? Welcome back. It's been another week, so that means we have a week's worth of new makeup to talk about. With me, I have the fabulous, wonderful, magnanimous, amazing Wilma. Yes, Wilma very, very kindly had me on her channel there not so long ago, and we had a good old chin wag, and it was excellent. And I have been bothering her with my presence ever since.
You have not.
I'm like herpes. You never really get rid of me. You know, you can try many courses of antibiotics and I just keep scurrying on back. And I have the amazing, fabulous Heather. She's been on with me before. Hopefully you guys have subscribed to her, and do subscribe to Wilma if for some reason. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to either of these fabulous people.
I just refer to you all as my British Isle babes because there's 6 now of you that I'm following. And I put Elena Glam in there too, even though she's in LA, because I wouldn't know her if it weren't for you ladies. So
to be fair, I think she would enjoy that because she's like, most of the people I like are in the British Isles. And I'm like, yes. Very small little general announcement, you know, minor, barely even notice it. I'm changing releases and rants because essentially I'm a lazy bee. For those of you who don't know, it takes me about 2 to 3 days to edit this. It's very annoying. No, not annoying. I enjoy it. Ha, life is good. Anyways, basically between like getting all the pictures and stuff together and actually like pop it, it's annoying. Anyone who edits knows popping in these things is actually it's a bit of a pain. So I'm getting rid of the lightning round. Anyways, it was the stuff that nobody cared about. Let's be real, you know, Revolution's 5,000th launch of another neutral something, so that's gone. And I'm still doing some sneak peeks, but only of the stuff that you really want me to discuss. So yeah, it's streamlined, it's new and improved. It's releases and rants 3.0, 4. I don't know how many iterate. It's like lockdown. I don't know how many we've had at this point. So
let's not talk about lockdown.
Yeah. Anyways, it is what it is. I have so many people to thank for tagging me in content. So I want to say a big thank you to Brianna, Ali, Gillian, Beth, Cheryl, Tony, Cecily, Tia, Chrissy, Gina, Manuela T, JW, Victoria, Amy, Louise, Shanna, Susie, Becky, Manuela A, Heather P, Chris, Amina, Eve, Brogan, Nisha, Annie, Suzanne, Rhiannon, Alexis, Gaia, Missy, Sue, Haley, Heather H, Sarah L, Kat, Heidi, Katie, Inez, Daniela, and Missa. Massive thank you, because particularly now, you guys are definitely making the episodes and dictating what we're talking about. As per usual, massive thank you to my Patreons. They're an all right bunch. They'll do until I get very famous, and then I'll ditch them. Because
I'm a Patreon.
That's the new scandal, that.
Yeah. I just want to be part of the drama.
Because YouTuber ditches fans.
I'm gonna be huge.
And then we're all gonna subscribe and you won't be huge anymore.
And then I'll just get onto camera in a grey like hoodie and I'll cry without any makeup and just say about how sorry I am and that you all mean so much to me and that I really miss you.
Lies.
You're already planning your apology video. I like it.
Yeah, next year's videos already planned.
Oh, it's next year, is it? It's that soon.
Yeah. Look, well, why don't you think I'm gonna get that huge that quickly?
No, I just think you're gonna ditch us that soon. You should have been huge already. Yeah. Let alone ditching us.
I mean, you know, it's all on it's on a trajectory. A big happy birthday to Heidi. Well done.
Happy birthday, Heidi.
And then, just in case you didn't know, we have a theme. We usually have a theme. And this week it was chosen by Wilma because I am popping Wilma's or cherry. So I was like, okay, you are choosing the theme. And Wilma was like, you're putting me on the spot.
What do I do?
Push buttons. So our theme is cute and colourful. That means that we are now on to the whole thing of talking about new makeup releases. myself and Tia talked about this last week, that we were like, okay, there's a sneak peek, something is coming from Revolution, and they were like, DC, Batman, no. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, lads, what are you going to do? Don't ruin another facet of my childhood. I mean, I love Batman in all of its iterations, from, you know, the cartoon to Adam West to, you know,
George Clooney's nipples.
Oh, who doesn't love George
Those specifically,
Clooney's
the nipples.
That's the highlight.
That's the left one.
Revolution have done this to us. They took what was an look, yeah, you already know my opinion on this. I'm angry. They took an interesting franchise and went, what is the least possible interesting way that we can manifest this? And then they went, here you go. So they have Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Joker, and they have Batman, and they have like makeup bags and all this sort of stuff. Right, let's talk about some positive things. The makeup bags and the mirrors. Don't hate them. I actually think they're probably the least offensive out of the whole thing.
The packaging's nice.
Yeah, that I will agree.
I won't lie, I quite like the Harley one.
Well,
Not going to buy it because I've got them shades elsewhere, but it's not the worst. The rest of it can get in the bin.
I'm not sure what I'm looking at. Like, there's one with 6 rows, and then there's a bigger one next to it that has 8 big pans and then 8 little ones.
I think that just describes the full collection. I don't know what I'm looking at.
But then there's the little 9 palette ones, and I have to say, something that I appreciate is a smaller palette. Like, you don't need all the colors in one palette. It's too much. I think for the consumer, because you said something last week, Teresa, about the new Carnival palette. Like, if you took it into sections, there's a section you could just, it's like, yes, could I take out a section? Can I just put what I want into it? And so some of these little 9 pans are quite good, in my opinion, because like there's the, I don't know which one it is, but it might be the Harlequin one, which is pink and blue.
Yeah,
that's what I said I like.
And then there's the rainbow one with the yellows and greens and blue and white and black and pink.
The
and orange.
Joker one.
Yeah.
Is that the Joker? That's a great one too. I'm assuming that the Catwoman is the more smoky one.
Yeah.
And
With
then
the violet in the bottom.
blacks and yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those two, although the Batman one I don't mind because I like that yellow. I've been finding lately yellow as a color has been very disappointing and hard to find. But that one looks good. The only one I don't like in that, which shocks me, is the Catwoman one. Because it's just too muted.
That's exactly, I think that's the one that really gets me, because, you know,
I love not Catwoman.
Have we not watched Michelle Pfeiffer for nothing? Come on. That palette doesn't say Catwoman to me on any level.
No.
There's no, like, this is like the Halle Berry version of Catwoman, in that it's horribly disappointing and doesn't live up to the franchise. Like,
I love the metaphor.
Thank you. I'm normally not very good at them, so I feel very proud of myself today.
I wish they'd got rid of that massive face eye monstrosity.
Oh God.
And done a poison ivy with loads of greens, smoky, bit of orange for the ginger hair, please.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that is exactly what I want. I want something poison ivy, because particularly now they're saying that Margot Robbie, who is playing Harley Quinn, she's kind of pushing for the next film for her to be in a relationship with Poison Ivy, which is true to the comic book
very canon. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, that would be incredible. So I think like they've missed a trick here. I think in general, like the palette kind of makes sense in terms of who they're representing, with the exception of Catwoman, because that I agree. Harley Quinn, I can kind of see that, you know, particularly the cartoon version of the pastels. I think they could have brought in like a red and black, because, you know, she wears that red and black outfit quite a bit. That could have worked really, really well. The Joker one kind of makes sense. I think they could have done more with like that chartreuse green, like really having that in there, because I don't think that pops as much as it could. The Batman one makes sense. That weird big palette that has what I'm assuming is like face stuff. Is it bronzers or highlighters? It's confusion.
Yeah. Is that one palette?
Yeah.
It's huge.
One giant bifold one, I think. Yeah, hate it. I think the Joker one has a few like blending out colours, which is good for such a small palette. Like you've got yellow, you can go either the green or the peach. You've got the blue, which you can smoke out with the black. The Harley Quinn one, I've already said I quite like. There is a lot of like nice pastel-y, bluey pinks. I don't understand the Catwoman one. The Batman one bores me a little bit. It's neutral with yellow, but that's just me. Yeah.
Do you remember the TV show, the purple outfit, the sparkly purple outfit she wore?
Yes.
Like there should be that purple in this, and all the colors are just too muted.
Yeah.
You know, they're just too like they're not declarative, and Catwoman was a very declarative character.
Yeah. I think that's part of what gets me. It's like, because Catwoman would have been one of my favorites, so I like, is that a surprise? Like I am becoming a rubbish
Catwoman.
And why is there two Batman palettes, a big and a small? I mean, I know I just said
one's the city. I think one's Gotham-ish. The other one's Batman.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
No, there is two Batman. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because
maybe Robin, maybe that's
Batman.
Robin in there with the reds and yellows.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could have been better executed. I think the packaging looks really good, but it does feel very much like they kind of spent an awful lot of time thinking about the packaging and not so much about the contents.
Is that a
That's
Batman
what drives me
mirror?
crazy about Revolution.
Yeah.
Is that a Batman mirror?
Yeah.
Well, then it's all worth it.
Yeah.
I would buy that mirror in a heartbeat.
Well, that's what I'm
That's what
saying.
drives me crazy about Revolution is they do so much with the packaging and not a lot with the colour story or the formulation. Because if that Harley was by BH or Butte Bay, I would buy it in a heartbeat because I know that the formulation would be great, but there's a lot of pinks and purples in there which are hard to formulate. So Revolution's not going to do it.
And Revolution, I mean, I'm a drag queen. I need full pigmentation. I need it to be full tilt boogie color. And Revolution tends to be a little weaker pigmented. And then knowing that, looking at the Catwoman palette, it's like, well, you'd end up with nothing on your face.
Yeah, it'd just be an ashy mess.
Yeah.
Just not fun. I will say when I look at the Harley Quinn palette, and maybe this is just because I feel that Revolution just end up recycling a lot of their stuff. But I think this looks very much like the Joey palette from the Friends collection.
Yes. And what is pastel about Joey? But yeah, like even not as a drag queen, as someone who loves bright makeup, I want pigmentation too. Like I don't want like I feel like the Revolution should like I feel like they like makeup for kids.
Yeah.
It's the best way I can describe their quality. You let kids would have a play, but they're not kids' prices anymore.
No, they're not. They're increasing, and I'm just like, The things that I like from this are mostly like the mirror, the makeup bags. You know, other than that, like the idea of the palettes are there, but I don't trust the formulas. And when I put it to you guys, 30% of you said that you love it. You know it's heading into spooky season, the most wonderful time of the year. I love it. It's wonderful. We are seeing some like spooktacular stuff coming out, all the spooky themed stuff, and Alien Cosmetics have collaborated with Sydney Nicole Adams, and this is their Hauntingly Glamorous palette. So it is coming out in the next couple of days, and each of the shades kind of has like little things like imprinted on it. It's either tombstones or like little ghosts. That they've done really well in terms of like their presentation of the palette. The way that they're actually showing it to the public is really good. The green, I can't help it. Anytime that anything has a green like that in it, I'm instantly like, oh.
And the greens on either side of that green are fabulous as well. That's the thing. When you see, like, even in the Carnival palette, there's that one great green, but it's like, well, what else are you supposed to do? You know, like I need more than one great green. I need at least two good greens and a mediocre thrown in for good measure.
I will say that chartreuse green that you're talking about has glitter in it, so it's not like you could make that. You could make it just on its own, but like it is
that
a beautiful
red.
palette.
I still don't know what to do with red eyeshadow. No offense to anybody, but gee whiz, that's a great red.
I feel like with red, you're risking looking like Gerard Way,
or that you have conjunctivitis. That's the other.
Yeah, but that bottom violet purple, you dropped a gorgeous shade. Bottom second from the left.
Yes, the maroon sort of shade.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think
It's
all
beautiful.
of the colors in this are great.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about Alien as well.
They're on my
I don't own anything from them.
Yeah.
I don't, but I have heard good things.
They have like a lot of palettes that I've been like side-eyeing and having lustful dreams about. And then when I wake up in like a cold sweat, Sahil turns to me and he's like, "Were you dreaming of me?" And I'm like, "No, I was dreaming of palettes." But that's all right. So he's used to that now. But I think this is both in keeping with their collaborator and with Alien Cosmetics. And I like seeing that it's a clear collaboration, not, I've just put my name onto this thing, which, no shame in that. We all got to make our cash somehow, and at least it's not through murder. So, I like this, but because it'd be coming from the States, you know exactly what I'm going to say. I don't want to deal with duties roulette and shipping costs. And I did like one night in a feverish thing of, treat yourself. You haven't treated yourself in at least 2 days. That's so long. And I put stuff into my basket in a frenzy while at Alien Cosmetics. And then the shipping was like $40. And I was like, that's the same as one of the palettes. I can't do that. I just couldn't. And it didn't seem to matter how much I added to my basket. I never got free shipping because that's a game I like to play. And I was like, no, let's just leave it there. And just go and look at the stuff that you already have, because you probably have those exact shades, but across about 20 different palettes instead of in one. So
I had no idea that Alien was so expensive to ship. So that's put me right off this.
Yeah.
Because $40, unless that better have included tax and duties.
I don't even know if it did. That's the thing. So like it wasn't certain. It just said international shipping, and I was like, oh, that's a bit.
Do you think it would cost that to have it shipped to Canada too?
Possibly.
Because we're international, but we're attached.
I don't think
the same strip of land.
I don't know. I find with the smaller companies, of course, they're also dealing with smaller numbers and sales, and so they don't get those deals for shipping and such that the bigger companies do. But I'll tell you, every year Halloween comes around and I have blown my wad on makeup, and so I've never really bought Halloween makeup. And this was the year I kind of was like, I'm just going to hold my breath. I'm not going to buy everything, which is why I don't have the Wilderness palette. But I've been kind of waiting for that Halloween palette to blow my skirt up. And this one, I feel a bit of a breeze with this one.
But when I put this to you guys, 38% of you want it. So I guess just not in that spooky feeling yet, which, fair. We're on to fast fashion makeup stuff. So this is She Glam, aka of the Shein. And they have an Insta-ready face and under eye setting powder duo. So it's $6.50. It's meant to be like oil absorbing loose powder. And I love how they've said, it's meant to lock in your under eye makeup and fill in any wrinkles. And are you sure? That seems like a big promise to be making now, She Glam. What I will say is they seem to actually have a decent range of shades. So I'm like, okay, here you are, like an affordable brand, actually coming out with an okay shade. I'll accept it.
Is it just those 6 shades?
Yeah, but for setting powder, that's pretty standard.
Well, they're not close to each other. There was one you were talking about last week where they were all like a tone away from each other.
Yeah.
So it was like 8 shades, but really it only went 2 stops down the color wheel for me,
Yeah.
It just shows that it can be done though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the science is there, people. It is there.
I like that there's a white one because as a drag queen, I need the white one.
Yeah. It's a very, very white.
Yeah.
Like it's very white. And look, I think these are good for people who are just getting into makeup or they don't have a massive budget. I know that some people have really sworn by things like the Shein foundation, that they've found some really nice stuff, and that I think some of the palettes are hit and miss, but when they're relatively cheap, and again, you know, people are just getting into makeup or they just can't afford it. Actually, I don't think this is awful.
I think the sponge looks good with that flat edge.
Yeah.
So is it a cream on top of the powder?
Yeah.
And so is that like a paint pot, MAC paint pot thing?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I don't want it, but I think it's a great idea. It's not a waste of someone's energy to create that.
Yeah. It's not for me.
No.
I'm not massively into powder products because age is marching on, and the thing is, I'm getting more and more lines, and when I have powder on, it's just like, oh, look at the journeys that we've taken together, and I'm like, no. Oh no, why is my face suddenly a road map? It's very upsetting, and I don't need that in my life. So cream products.
You're too harsh on yourself.
I'm too Irish. That's what we do. We just constantly rip into ourselves. It's part of the culture. So when I put it then to you guys, 21% of you said that you wanted it. Colourpop. They have come out with this new palette. It's called It's a Mood. It started off at being $34, but it's already gone down to $25.50. I think that this is an attempt to replace the So Jaded palette that was by Kathleen Light, because there's a very similar color story to that, but obviously I think it was like Kathleen Light's got into trouble, or there was some issue with her contract with Colourpop, and they've been like pulling all of her stuff from the site. So I think this was their attempt to kind of go here, because that was such a popular palette. They've ordered it well in the sense that, you know, they have each of the color stories in their columns, and for me, I like that because it's just intuitive for me that I can see it going from light to dark. And I think even like I've spoken to Daniela about this before, because she's a makeup artist, and she says that for her that's actually really helpful for when she's on a job, that she's like, okay, I know the placement of this particular thing, and I think it makes it a lot easier for people as well to know what to do with a palette.
Yeah,
because we go darkest color, okay, now I'll go up one to blend it. Easy.
When I look at the palette, I'm surprised that it's Colourpop, just because I find lately with their bigger palettes like Stone Cold Fox and stuff like that, it's very monochromatic, even though there are tones and differences in there. Like, I don't know, I think that there are, like the Stone Cold Fox palette, I have it because I wanted neutral tones, but that was like all of the neutral tones in one go. So I thought, good job. But some of their other big palettes, it's like, well, you have all those colors. Like if you buy from Colourpop, you have all these colors somewhere. You don't need the big one. But I have to say this one surprises me because it's bold coloring. It's a good range of color. Like you don't often see orange and that mossy green in the same palette. And then the teals and purples, they're really rich looking. So I feel like, especially at $25, that's a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not paying shipping.
Yeah, I think as well that this is the perfect time of year to come out with this. These are the grungy autumn kind of colors. Like I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking of hot chocolate and like woolen hats and just loveliness. So I like this, but I think it's like, this is weirdly, it's not that it's nostalgic for me, but it's actually weirdly evocative in terms of it actually makes me think of a season. So I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but that's what I get when I look at that. But when I put it to you guys, it seems a lot of you are feeling it, because 58% of you said, gimme, gimme, gimme a Man After Midnight. So we sneak peeked this last week. Natasha, she has no, well, actually, look, on the one hand, she sneak peeked us the minis in on 5,000 years ago. And we were all like, was that a hazy fever dream? What was that? Is that actually happening? And then it did eventually happen. But then with this, she was like, here's a sneak peek. It's here now. it's like, whoa, okay. So this is the retro palette. It's $65 and it's going to be on sale.
Sweet Maria and the Ships at Sea.
I know.
$65 for 15 little square pin. No.
I know.
Who's Natasha Denona? I want to meet this person. I have to tell you, I have never seen a Natasha Denona palette that I've gone, you know, oh, it's a bargain at any price. What's that?
You not seen the Circo Loco?
I don't like it. I think, and again, keep in mind, I'm looking at this from a drag queen's perspective.
Okay.
They're too muted. There are too many of the same tones in the palette. You know, like when I look at this one, all of the colors are very much on the same line tonally, which means when you blend them, you'll end up with just a bruise on your face, you know? Yeah, for me, I've just never been impressed by Natasha Denona's palettes.
When I saw this, my initial thought was, this looks very much like Melt Cosmetics She's in Parties palette. Looks very, very much like that. Same sort of tones. I like Natasha's formula. It's pretty good. But what I will say is like, it's like a conservative, like her colors are like conservative colors. They're like, you know, when you want to do a pop of color, but you're like, oh, my name is Mildred and I'm going to the bank and I don't want to upset Harry. It'll get him into a tizzy. So
I'm being naughty by putting a pop of colour.
So that's what Natasha Denona is. It's, you know, a little walk on the wild side for more conservative makeup wearers, which is fine. You know, that's grand. You try that bad side of town, just driving through it.
There was some in the Batman collection that I want more than this.
Ooh.
It was the mirror.
Controversial.
Wilma's still thinking about the mirror.
Yes.
If I don't get that, I'm gonna order it. When's this coming out?
Anyways, when I put this to you guys, 34% of you said it must be mine. Then we have Sugar Pill, and this is their fun size 2, and they're quirky because they've spelt it T-double-O, not T-W-O. Oh, you, Sugar Pill. Oh, you. Look, it's a 9-pan palette. I think it's all mattes because it's a pressed pigment. I got the fun size, the first one, because I'm an idiot, and there was a cat on the palette, and I make really poor emotional responses. The first fun size came out 2 years ago, so they've waited 2 years for this one to come out. This kind of makes sense in conjunction with it. Now, what I will say is the fun size, the first one that I got, I was very underwhelmed with. The pigmentation was very I've had better. Like, it was unremarkable. Like, it was there, it did its thing, but I have gotten better for cheaper. But I like the packaging, but that's not enough to buy things.
How small is this palette?
I think it's Colourpop size.
Yeah.
I like the colours. I feel like it's a rainbow palette with a twist.
I love the colors. I hate that it looks like the swatches are all photoshopped.
Oh, they are. Of course they are. Yeah.
I think that
immediately makes me wonder what's wrong with it, you know?
I think it's pixelated to go with the front cover, and like there's like a gaming theme, so I think that's why it looks pixelated. But
you know, that reminds me of the ColourPop was Animal Crossing stuff. Yeah. Is that what I have here? Yeah. And like, it just makes me like go, oh, do you know what I mean? Because like, I wouldn't have bought this if it hadn't have been in a mystery box. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it looks nice. I like some of the colors. I'm not going to get it, but
the colors are gorgeous. If they actually have any pigmentation in them, then it's already a great little palette. Especially if you don't own a rainbow palette. If you still don't own a rainbow palette, this is a great one, I think, to grab, because I mean, how much is it going to be?
Oh, it's a pricey enough one. I think it's like $20-something, if I remember. Yeah, because they hadn't put the price up at the time that I was looking at it, but if I recall, it was $20-something, which I think it's just a bit expensive for that.
Yeah, they're ashamed of their pricing. That's why they hold it back.
But when I put it to you guys, then 34% of you want it. So I'm assuming it's for the cat, which...
Just about to say the same thing.
So we've had a lot of weird collaborations over the last number of months, and Netflix has a show called Sex Education, which is actually pretty good. Gillian Anderson is in it, and I love her. She's fantastic, and frankly, can we cast her in every possible TV show going forward? Yes. Not just because she's a bit of an LGBT icon. Do love her. Weirdly, NYX went, yes, sex education. We'll do a collaboration with them. And they're putting this forward and they're all like, oh yeah, back to school. And I'm like, I kind of think that if anyone is actually of school age, like going to school, they probably shouldn't be watching sex education. Probably not. But also, I'm like, lad, what are you doing? Stop trying to pretend this is new stuff. It's not. I've seen that little eyeshadow palette thing from you guys before. You've just repackaged it. Now, NYX have done this before. Last year, they had the audacity, nay the gall, to come out with their rainbow kind of square palette, rather conveniently at the time of Pride, and put it in rainbow packaging, and then they didn't put any money towards LGBT causes at all. They were totally trying to, like, you know, profit off that, which has given me the ick towards them ever since. So bear in mind, when I'm talking about them, I am actually probably being a little bit biased and unobjective here, because it's just, I find it hard to get past. But looking at this, I'm like, I don't really see how this is linked to the show. I do think it's absolutely hilarious that the brow styler is called Bush Tamer.
I feel like it would be a Wet and Wild or Revolution release, rather than, like, it kind of gives me Wet and Wild, Saved by the Bell vibes.
Yeah.
And I hate it all. I think I can
Well,
say,
and
like,
that primer is called First Base. That's hilarious.
Yeah, like I'll allow that one. That's an acceptable pun.
And I have to say, I love NYX's jumbo white pencil.
Yeah.
It is the best. So it makes me like think, oh, okay, well, these other, I might actually, I'm not, but because I like the white one, it would put me in a mind to go, oh, well, these other ones might be good too. I mean, I look at the colors, there's nothing there I want, but that little palette for a rainbow palette, like, I really like if the colors actually look like that and go on like that, because NYX is another one. I don't like their pigmentation. Yeah. I like a lot of their products, but their makeup is not great.
It's hit or miss in terms of their eyeshadows.
Yeah.
You either get like some really, really excellent stuff, or you can get some like, oh, what is this? Like, I remember a couple of years ago when they came out with their, was it the Elementals palettes or something, and they were like earth, fire, air, water. They were terrible. Like, so bad. Like, and the thing is, I am super white, which is the worst superpower that you could have. So if things aren't like turning up on me very well, like, what is it going to do on somebody who has a darker skin? Like, it's going to look awful. So I'll kind of go to NYX for like things like, say, I don't know, like base products, or
do a great brow product.
Yeah.
Do a great brow pen.
And when I put it to you guys, 15% of you said that you love it. Okay, last week we sneak peeked that Beauty Bay was coming out with something, and I wrongly guessed that I thought it might be Book of Magic too. Look, that was just sheer wishful thinking. And can I just say, they should have gone with what I said.
Yeah.
Because no. Right, this is a collaboration with Disney, and when I looked at this, like, and when I did the breakdown, it kind of bothers me, because right, the way that my brain works is there needs to be like symmetry, so the same number of things across collections, and this is not it, right? So they have an Alice in Wonderland, they have Dumbo, they have Jungle Book, and then they went Pinocchio. We also have Pinocchio, but they don't really. It's really weird. So Alice in Wonderland is the biggest collection out of the whole thing. So they have 3 of the shadow sticks for that. They have 2 of the blush lip duo things. And I will say, of all of the eyeshadow palettes, that is the most interesting. That is the one that makes me the least, oh, what have you done? And then we look at the Dumbo collection, and there is 1 eyeshadow palette and 2 shadow sticks on that, which, by the way, the shadow sticks can also be used as eyeliner. So, you know, make of that what you will. And then they have the Jungle Book palette and 1 shadow stick. And then they went, also, hey, Pinocchio. And there's a lip and cheek duo, which they've called Pinocchio Short. Now, my thought is they weren't initially, right, this is me being sheer conspiracy, all right, come with me on on this journey, right? I think that initially that Dumbo palette wasn't going to be Dumbo. I think it was actually going to be Pinocchio, because the colors make a lot more sense for Pinocchio, but they realized that Dumbo would pull better with an audience than Pinocchio, because they obviously came out with the live action version of Dumbo not that long ago, whereas Pinocchio is still back in the 1950s version, which is still excellent and frightened me as a child, I will say. I was terrified I would get turned into a donkey. Cannot confirm whether or not that ever happened. I will say, when I look at the shadow sticks, they have these in their pastel liners. So, like, this is just a re-release essentially of those. So don't panic and go off and buy those. This is very...
It's like I was saying in the group, like, taking the Disney side part away, ignore that for a minute. I don't hate these palettes. They remind me of the Utopia, which I was debating picking up anyway. But, like, I like some of these colours. The packaging doesn't relate anywhere near to the colours in the palettes, but it looks nice. Pinocchio also terrified me as a child. Like, I don't know what's pastel about Jungle Book.
No,
I don't get where that pastel blue and pastel lilac has come from. Alice in Wonderland's the nicest one, like you said. I know it's Disney's 50th anniversary this year. That's probably why they've got a collab coming out.
to be fair, Disney have been coming out with collab after collab after collab with pretty much everyone, because they're trying to make back money, because the parks have been closed over the last 2 years. They're smart, you know, they're doing what they can to keep the lights on, you know. It's tough time.
For a company whose product is animated movies, I have yet to see a palette with their name on it that makes me think of a Disney cartoon. Like, none of them, even these aren't horrible. I don't hate them, but I don't know. I just expect better color somehow. And I can't articulate it better than that. Like, I don't have an alternate color for any of the colors I'm seeing, but as a group, it's like, well, yeah, okay, I could see that being Alice in Wonderland, but I could also see it being this, and this. You know, it's like when Matt came out with the Cruella de Vil palette, it's like, well, that's the most boring thing I've ever seen. Like, this is a really magnetic film. Like, how could you be so anticlimactic? And I feel with with these with these palettes, they're not for me for sure, but I also think that they're not really for the majority of consumers out there. They're really for either, you know, young girls or boys who are getting into makeup, and maybe their parents feel good about buying those for them, or for, you know, I guess maybe younger adults, like, you know, before they're 30, who still go to the club, you know, and need something in their makeup bag to, you know, sparkle it up. But I feel like those people already have those things. I mean, I remember the ColourPop, they had the princess and the evil, or, you know, the
villains.
The villains, thank you. And the villains palette, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I've seen more villainous palettes from other companies that had nothing to do with Disney. Yeah. So I wonder why they were either afraid to make a full move to proper color saturation or representation, or if it's really down to, because this is the conversation we're not in on. It's like, how do we sell this 9 palette pan to everybody? You know, it can't be to this because these people can't buy it. It can't be to that because those people can't buy it. What about the gingers? Do you know what I mean? It's if
that's not the title of this episode, I don't know what it is. What about the gingers?
Like, I think there's going to be people that will buy them. I like these ones better than some of the Disney things I've seen, and the price point's excellent. Like, there was what's that company where they have the books, and and they had some Disney stuff which was all right, but I would buy these before those. Yeah. And I still don't think these are very Disney-y.
And when I put it to you guys in terms of a poll, 21% of you said that you wanted it, which is interesting because people were very excited about a new launch from Beauty Bay. Mm-hmm. So how the tides have turned. It's a new month, so that means a new gemstone. BH, we need to have words. Do you know what color sapphire is?
It's blue.
Yeah.
Like we said on Instagram,
A dark
BH
blue.
has missed the memo. Why is
I
it
think
purple?
BH has missed the memo on most of these palettes. The only palette I've been moved to buy was the Pure Dough, which was the most gorgeous green. And I'm born in April, so that was the diamond one. No, boring. The aquamarine one wasn't very blue either, but this one I was expecting blue and it's purple.
Both me and Teresa said we wish the peridot one was the emerald one, but they could have done a really beautiful royal deep blue.
Yeah. I was going to buy sapphire because I expected blue.
Yeah.
And we know that BH can do that, and they can do it really, really well. They
Really
did
well.
that in the Paris palette. They've done it in the
Blueberry muffin
palette. I'm like, lads, you know how to do it. This is not like me saying like, BH are trash. BH actually are, in my opinion, one of the best affordable brands out there. They are so good in terms of their pigmentation, but I think on these things, they're so hit and miss. Like, they are not as bad as their awful Zodiac palettes. Like, this is definitely like a step up in terms of that terrible atrocity. But
what insults me the most about something like Sapphire, here we are in the 9th month. They've had 9 months to get people's opinion. You know what I mean? I can understand April, February, March being misses a little, but by the time you've hit here and beyond, these things should have been worked out. And if they had even just gone up to people and said, what color is sapphire to you? And they said, like more people said blue, even if technically a gemologist would say, well, sapphire is purple. That's all well and good, but when the general public doesn't think that, who's right? Your audience, I mean, your market, or the expert who's sitting at home not wearing makeup?
As someone used to work in a jeweler's, sapphire is most definitely blue.
Yeah.
Purple to me looks more like
amethyst. Isn't that an amethyst?
Yeah.
It could be amethyst, but it could also be tanzanite, which I think is an alternative to topaz for November, if I remember rightly. Could be wrong. This is another one of them palettes where if you take the theme away, I like it. I like the color story.
Yeah.
It's just
that
not
green
sapphire.
Is lovely.
Just not sapphire.
Stacey, I don't think I can get past that. I know that sounds so ridiculous and shallow, but I am very specific on these things, that I'm like, no. If that's what it's meant to be, that is what it's meant to be. There are 7 shades. One of them is blue, and not even a sapphire blue. So 14% of the palette is blue. The other 86% have nothing to do with the shade of blue. And
that was quick enough.
They did that with the ruby one too. I felt the ruby missed the point.
The ruby one was so confusing. They were like, here's one red, but it's a glitter. And I was like, F off with your glitter.
The bubblegum palette from the sweet shop is more sapphire than this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm okay. I have that palette. I don't need this one.
I agree.
I've got the Paris and the Blueberry Muffin. I don't need this one.
Yeah. I think it's a beautiful looking palette. But like Heather was saying, if you take away the theme, you're like, yeah, this is great. But as soon as you put what it's meant to be, you're like, Jesus. Like, you can give me a beautiful essay about, the March for Independence and Civil Rights. But if I've asked you about perinatal development, I'm going to give you a 0, because that was not the assignment. So sorry. When I put it to you guys, 38% of you said that you wanted it. This next one, I sneak peeked many months ago. This is by Beshi Beauty, and this is their collaboration with Mystical Glamour, and it's their This Is Halloween collection. So again, spooky season. And I'm going to say I love the names because, we have Winifred in there for my girl, the Sanderson sister. We have Sabrina, Buffy. I also lost my mind when I saw that they had the shade Amok in there.
I love Amok. Amok from Hocus Pocus. I love it. These look so beautiful. If these aren't super expensive, I may be buying them.
Are these singles being sold as a package, or is this a palette?
So you can both buy these as singles, but you can also buy it together as a bundle.
Oh.
Now,
I just saw the bundle price.
yeah.
Ooh.
So sit down, lads, if you're not already sitting down. So the bundle for 8 of them, are you ready? $137.50.
Wow, I all of a sudden they're not as fabulous to me.
But if there's one in particular that you like, it's $11.95.
These are beautiful, but at the same time, I feel like I have some of these colours from Titmouse and Pastel Roses. So, as much as I would love Monster Mash and Winifred on my face, no, not at that price.
Yeah, that's what gets me as well, because I was like, oh my god, I love this, I love everything about this. This is so on theme, this is so Halloween, the colors, it's autumnal, nom 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 nom. Oh, why does it cost so much? Oh no, oh dear god, no.
Like,
Yeah.
as it stands, I would buy Pumpkin King and Morticia without blinking my eye, and maybe the Sabrina, maybe. But even still, for $12, I don't like you can get that whole disappointing sapphire palette for $9.
If anyone wants to get it for me, you can. You're more than welcome.
Oh yeah, I would love to take it as a present.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
I wouldn't say no to any of them.
No.
As a gift, but I'm not buying them.
No.
I don't even say no to like the Batman palette, like free
No.
makeup's free makeup. But
Yeah, no. As long as the mirror's in there, yeah.
the mirror's the sticking point. But yeah, I can't even see a Morticia swatch on that picture.
Yeah.
No.
I'm very confused by it. But when I polled you guys, 81% of you wanted them. Gucci, what you doing? What's happening?
Stick to bags and shoes. Why do you have to do makeup as well?
Why are they picking up toast
Yeah.
on that swatch? Get it?
Hey, why? Right. For those of
If
you
you're buying Gucci makeup, you're not making toast.
No. Well, all right, just to explain to everyone at home, this is the Cushion Deputé refillable foundation SPF 22. I love the specificity, not 20 or 25, 22. There are an incredible 6 shades. Are there really? $56. What I find effing hilarious is she's there with her piece of toast. Yeah, I know I'm assuming sex there, and pronouns. Whoops.
The toast is darker than some of these shades.
Exactly. There is more shade variation in the toast than there is in this foundation line, right?
There's more shade in this video than there is in that foundation line.
Honestly, like I have given out to brands before for their shade ranges.
Yeah.
And I think this is taking the biscuit.
No, at best, this is a makeup line for white people who like to get a tan, not
No,
POC.
I don't even say anyone who has a tan. This is for me. This is for the people who don't leave the house, you know? And I was talking to Daniela about it, and she was like, oh, maybe this is like, Gucci are really big in the Asian market, so maybe this is it. But I was like, no, if you look at it, the undertones wouldn't even suit. So what's going on?
I like the packaging.
But that it just looks like a heat transfer decal on a plastic compact.
Yeah. It's very well drawn decal, but yeah, no.
I could draw you that. I mean, I'd rather if it were raised and textured and it had some gold filigree, then okay. How much is this?
$56.
$56? No.
Exactly.
Wilma, I'm expecting a drawing, by the way.
Look, all I'm saying is racism is.
I'll get on it, Heather.
Yeah. I mean, this is just. I mean, we know racism exists. This obviously is not a surprise to anyone who's watching. But it's the fact that it's this blatant that a company just kind of goes, oh yeah, we'll do this, and we don't see the problem in doing this. Like,
yeah, just like screw you all, we're doing this. No.
Nobody at that board meeting went, okay, that's all right. And that's indicative of, well, they probably only have very white people on the board. So
I can guarantee they only have old white men on that board as well.
Yeah.
Even the artwork, which really looks like clip art that's been assembled, it's not, there's not even a strong color in that.
No.
That's just an indication of how washed out this is.
Yeah.
Like, and who is using like this style of makeup? Like, I don't know anyone who uses that style
and
of
making
foundation.
toast. I mean, look how cheap that kitchen looks. That's not a person who can afford $50 foundation.
They spent all their money on the foundation, and that's why.
And then put ugly subway tile up on their backsplash.
But they can't even like afford a proper breakfast. They're like, oh, it's going to be toast from now on. Toast from now on. Sorry, she's gotten lonely, so she's.
Aww.
That's all they can afford. Yeah. Oh, look at there's a happy kitty.
It's like, yes. For those of you who have realized, I am back at my place in Carlow, and for the moment Cece is the only one who came with me, and she is enjoying having my complete attention. Some of my Patreons did see a video of her very explicitly dribbling all over me, which sounds like a euphemism, but it's not. So yeah, because I felt shady when I put this into my stories, I was like, there's so few shades. Do you think you could find a match? I know I got even some messages in saying, yeah, I could find a match. So I clicked, I found a match, but I'm not bloody buying it.
No. But I could find a match as well, but I said no.
Yeah, but that just, again, like, what are they doing? It's so stupid. Anyways, that means we're on to some sneak peeks. Now, there isn't a lot in terms of sneak peeks, but we're going to get into it. Fenty. Ah, dear. Fenty. What you doing? This is their Bomb Posse palette, and they said it's coming soon. They have their 12 eyeshadows, but then they also have essentially what looks like some like face products in the other side, so it's bulky. It reminds me a little bit of the Urban Decay Back Talk palette, which was like two-sided, which I don't love personally. Fenty, I think, are fabulous in lots and lots of ways. I think their lipsticks are incredible. The fact that they were one of the first brands to really be inclusive in terms of their shade ranges, fantastic. Their eyeshadows are overpriced, underpigmented, right? Yeah. I've gotten eyeshadows for half the price that are 10 times better. I just don't rate them. So I'm not going to go off and buy this huge monstrosity of neutral sadness, because I'm not going to get much from it. However, they're diamond bombs, and if that's what's on the other side, the diamond bombs, they are a thing of great beauty. They are they make me feel things, and that make me feel like maybe I'm not completely dead inside. So it's nice to have that in my life. So like, I'm just a bit confused that they've done that they've put one really popular product in with the stuff that they're not that good at. I do think that they need
to why they've done it.
Yeah.
To sell them.
But then just don't do one of them. Don't do the bad one. Like,
they're doing 3 to try and get the eyeshadows pumped out.
Yeah, it's almost like the format with the flip, like the one on one side, that gimmick is helping them resell their boring eyeshadow in a different configuration.
Because I feel like the eyeshadows that they have there, they already have that in some of their 6 pans. Like, I think they have those exact shades. So I'm like, is this an attempt to repackage stuff that they have? Or, you know, they probably had the singles lying around and they were like, right, let's just put it into something and have this make sense. It's not for me. The only thing I could think of it being possibly useful for is a makeup artist who's using this on the job and is doing, like, say, bridal makeup.
Yeah.
But
I think it's very bridal. I think Matty's going to buy it, but...
Of course he is. Look, like, I think Matty even half considered getting that terrible clip-on gloss thing, you know, which was like, are you all right there, Ian?
I thought it was a...
April Fool's joke. I was convinced at the time, but no, it was actually real, and everything fell apart. When I put this to you guys, 24% of you said that you wanted it. I did say that, you know, we are getting more and more holiday stuff. It's not the time. I don't go into holiday stuff until at least November. I don't like it. I don't see the point in it. but I am very much Scrooge McDuck, so there you go. Charlotte Tilbury is attempting to confuse us and lie to us because she says that this is new. It's not, Chazza. We know this isn't. This is stuff that you have before, because if you look at a lot of her, like, what, 12-pan palettes or 16-pan, whatever this is, if you see some of her existing ones, these are like shades that are, if not identical, very, very close to ones, but she's just taken them from different palettes and just popped them in and told us, this is new, darling.
No, this shimmers look nice, but no, I have these elsewhere.
This is a better palette than the Fenty one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think you'd get more use out of this one than the Fenty.
As a makeup artist, you get more out of the Fenty because I think there's more.
That's true. But I mean,
this
as a consumer, as somebody,
matte.
especially Christmas coming, like you could, it's not a Christmas color story per se.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a nice palette for the average person to have for those glam moments, you know, like, because it's still within the realm of natural color, like pigmentation, like it's not, you know, greens and yellows and right in your face. I
think it's very in keeping with Charlotte's brand.
Yes. Yeah, it's tasteful. It's tasteful.
I'm not tasteful, so that's not the sort of thing.
No, neither am I.
Me neither. No.
I'm tasty, not tasteful.
Cannibalism, it's the new thing. When I put it to you guys, 17% of you basically were like, yes, I like it. Very last thing, this was announced today. We don't know what it looks like, but Kaleidos have gone, we're coming out with something, and it's an Apple collection, which I'm like, okay, normally when makeup brands are going, here's the food-based thing, I'm like, oh my God, could you actually just stop it? But Kaleidos are generally actually pretty interesting. So I'm like, are you going to make me want this? Is that what's happening here?
If any of those colors are in the actual palette, great. Disappointed with are these companies that, like, they have this great packaging and then it's like you open it up, it's like, what happened? Did I have a stroke?
One thing that confuses me is, why is there DNA in there? Why is there full helix in there? But yeah, if any of these colours, like the jade, the red, the blue, even that little pink, all over it.
That mustardy, orangey yellow is nice.
Like, I could be wrong, but I suspect because Kaleidos are who they are, I actually reckon, like, their packaging often matches what's on the inside. So I actually reckon this could be quite interesting. I like their formula quite a bit, so yeah, I'm already.
Yeah, they're one of the few companies that, without seeing the product, I'm excited.
Yeah. That's it, guys. Basically, because of the new format, it does mean that we get to chat a little bit more about things. So hopefully you enjoy that. If you don't, sorry, because I'm not changing it back.
It's tough.
I've committed to a change, and that's it. It took me a lot. I've been thinking about this change for months. So it takes me a long time to actually go about doing a thing. So deal with it. Hopefully you guys liked it. You know the drill. Find Wilma, find Heather online. Don't try to find them in real life. We're still doing the social distancing, even if there is no pandemic, because people are gross and sticky. Or maybe I've just been hanging out with the wrong people. I don't know. Find them, find the social medias. They're excellent. Heather does amazing videos on mythology and makeup. Wilma does fantastic chin wags, but she also does reviews of RuPaul's Drag Race. So if you're like me and you don't have a chance to actually catch up on them, I actually find this is like a great way to know what's going on so that I can be relevant.
And it's a user-friendly review of Drag Race. I don't hate anyone. I don't want anyone to feel badly for participating in Drag Race, or I certainly don't encourage people to hate people that are winning or kicking other people out, or, you know, because it's drag. Calm down.
Yeah. Look, Wilma's very impartial. Like, there's no nastiness. It's just a little bit of sass here and there.
No, I'm full of nastiness and I'm very partial. I just don't do it on in front of the camera. Once I turn this off, I'm going to judge everything 3 ways past Sunday.
Just come off the camera.
Not me, please.
Yeah, she'll be like, Teresa was disgusting. I hated her face. I wanted to smack it, which, you know, fair. But yeah, do check them out. They're absolutely fantastic, and they're stuck with me now like I said before, it's just how it is. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you can see more videos on this particular channel. Do please share, because sharing is caring, unless of course it's an STD, in which case, you know, wrap it up. Don't be gross. But that's it. That's the end of the video, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Mwah! Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.